Let me ask you something, my friends. Have you ever looked at someone in their 90s, still sharp, still living on their own, and wondered, what is their secret? Why is it that some people live these vibrant, happy lives well into their later years, while others, sometimes even in the same family, struggle to even reach 80? Is it just the luck of the draw? Is it all in the genes? Or is it something else entirely? The truth, which may surprise you, is that most people don't pass away before 85 simply because their bodies wear out.
Oh.
They pass away because of hidden habits, small, seemingly innocent choices they make every day that are quietly and silently shortening their lives. As the great physician Hippocrates once said, if we could find the right amount of nourishment and exercise, not too little and not too much, we would have found the safest way to health. That wisdom is more critical than ever after 60. Because the habits you choose in these golden years, they often decide whether you live just a few more years or an extra decade filled with true vitality. As a doctor who has worked with seniors for decades, I have seen this reality firsthand. I've seen an 85-year-old man who still drives to the grocery store and plays on the floor with his great-grandkids. And I have seen another man of the same age, who can no longer leave his home. The difference wasn't luck. It was a series of small, daily choices. Today, I want to guide you through 5 of these deadly habits after 60, and show you how avoiding them can give you the best possible chance of living beyond 85. Not just longer, but with meaning, with purpose, and with joy. And please, be sure to stay with me until the end. Because the 5th habit is one that so many people mistake for a normal part of aging. But it can silently steal your spirit and your health faster than all the others. The information in that final section could truly make all the difference. But before we begin, I have a small favor to ask. If you find value in learning how to live a longer, healthier life, please take a moment to subscribe to this channel right now. Each week, I bring you practical, simple tips that could protect your health and add more quality years to your life. Now, let's get started. Alright, let's get into the first of these deadly habits. Number 1. Stopping daily motion activities. Now, let's start with this first mistake, because it's perhaps the most common and the most deceptive. It's the simple act of stopping daily movement after retirement. For so many seniors I've talked to over the years, there's this powerful thought, this feeling of relief, that says, well, my working days are over. I've earned this. Now I can finally take it easy. And yes, rest is important. It is a vital part of a healthy life. But my friends, the biggest danger you can face in your golden years is when you misunderstand what taking it easy really means. And you stop moving altogether. Your body. Think of it like a beautiful classic car. A cherished vehicle you've had for years. If you leave that beautiful car just sitting in the garage for months on end without ever driving it, you know what happens. The tires go flat. The battery dies. The engine starts to seize up and rust. The fluids settle. The very parts designed for motion begin to decay from the lack of it. The very same thing happens to your body when it remains still. Here is the medical reality behind that. After the age of 60, our bodies naturally begin to lose muscle mass. It's a process called sarcopenia. It happens to everyone. But when we stop moving, when we trade our daily walks for daily hours in an armchair, that process doesn't just continue, it accelerates dramatically. It's like stepping on the gas pedal of aging itself. And what does that feel like in real, everyday life? It feels like weak legs when you try to get up from a chair. It feels like a constantly aching back that never seems to go away. It's that frightening feeling of poor balance, where you suddenly don't trust your own feet on the ground anymore. It's what makes climbing the simple stairs to your own bedroom feel like you're climbing a mountain. Let me tell you about a patient of mine, a wonderful man I'll call Frank. Frank was a high school history teacher for 40 years. A brilliant, funny man. After he finally retired, he embraced the idea of taking it easy. He spent most of his days in his favorite armchair. You know the one. The comfy one right in front of the television. Reading the paper, watching the game shows, and maybe taking a little nap. For the first year, it seemed perfectly fine. But within 3 short years, the change was heartbreaking. His legs became so weak that his wife had to help him stand up. His back ached constantly. He told me it was a deep, burning pain that just settled in. And the stairs. He eventually had to move his bed downstairs because climbing them became impossible. His doctor finally told him, "Frank, this isn't just old age. This is severe muscle atrophy from not moving." Now, I want you to compare that story to another person I know, a lovely woman named Carol. She was a nurse who retired around the same time as Frank, but she chose a very different path. She decided that retirement wasn't an ending, but a new beginning for her health. Every single morning, she joined her neighbors for a 30-minute walk around the block. Rain or shine, they were out there, chatting and moving. She found immense joy in her garden, spending hours outside tending to her tomatoes and her beautiful roses. She even joined a silver sneakers dance class at the local community center, just for the fun of it. Today, in her late 70s, Carol still walks with a confident stride. She carries her own groceries. She treasures her independence more than anything. She told me last week, with a twinkle in her eye, "Doctor, moving is what keeps me feeling young." So, what is the profound lesson we learn from Frank and Carol? It's that you don't need to run a marathon. You don't need to go to a fancy gym or lift heavy weights to stay healthy. But you absolutely do need daily activity. A short walk, some gentle stretching in the morning while the coffee brews, yoga, gardening, dancing in the living room to your favorite old songs. Anything that you enjoy that gets your body moving. So please, I urge you, just keep moving. Because, my friends, the key takeaway here is this. Motion is medicine. The moment you stop moving is the moment you truly start aging faster. Let's move on to the second deadly habit. And this one is a mistake born not out of laziness, but out of a sense of confidence that can be tragically misplaced. Number 2. Skipping regular health checkups. The second deadly mistake is ignoring those regular, yearly checkups. I have had this exact conversation hundreds of times in my career. A patient will say to me, "But doc, I feel fine. I feel great, actually. Why would I go to the doctor and go looking for trouble if I feel perfectly healthy?" It's a thought that seems to make so much sense on the surface. We are taught from a young age to only see a doctor when something feels wrong. But my friends, I need to be completely honest with you. After the age of 60, that way of thinking is one of the most dangerous gambles you can take with your health. Here's why. Many of the deadliest diseases that affect us in our later years are completely and utterly silent in their early stages. They are like thieves in the night. High blood pressure, often called the silent killer for a very good reason, shows almost no symptoms until it causes a catastrophic event. The same is true for early-stage type 2 diabetes, high cholesterol, kidney disease, and even certain forms of cancer. They can brew inside your body for years, doing slow, steady damage, all while you continue to feel perfectly fine on the outside. The core reason this becomes so critical as we age is that our bodies become more susceptible to these conditions. Our arteries may become a little less flexible, our bodies might not process sugar as efficiently as they used to, and our cellular repair systems just aren't what they were at 30 or 40. A blood pressure reading that was perfectly healthy at 50 might now be a significant risk factor at 70. This is the danger of feeling healthy. The absence of symptoms is not the absence of disease. It can simply be a ticking clock that you cannot hear. Let me tell you a story that illustrates this perfectly. It's about a gentleman I'll call Robert. Robert was 70 years old. He was a proud man, always active, and he bragged that he hadn't seen a doctor in over a decade because he never got sick. And he felt fine. One morning, he was having breakfast with his wife, and out of the blue, he had a massive stroke. It was sudden, and it was devastating. At the hospital, we discovered the tragic truth. His blood pressure had been dangerously high, likely for years, but he just didn't know it. The stroke not only cost him his ability to speak clearly and walk on his own, but it left his family with a mountain of medical bills. Tens of thousands of dollars for the initial hospital stay, the specialists, and the long, difficult road of rehabilitation. All of it, a completely preventable catastrophe. Now, I want you to compare Robert's story with that of another patient, a woman named Susan. Susan viewed her yearly Medicare wellness visit as a non-negotiable appointment. She put it on her calendar every year. At her checkup when she was 68, her doctor noticed that her cholesterol levels were starting to creep up. It wasn't an emergency. There were no symptoms. It was just a quiet little warning sign on a piece of paper. So, they made a simple plan. She started adjusting her diet, made sure she got her daily walks in, and her doctor prescribed a common, low-dose medication. Her copay for that life-changing visit was just $20. $20. Today, at 80 years old, Susan is still active, still full of energy, and her heart is strong. That $20 visit saved her from a future that could have easily looked just like Robert's. So please, listen to me on this. Do not wait for symptoms to appear. Make your yearly checkups your sacred habit. Get your blood pressure checked. Get your blood sugar and cholesterol levels tested. It is not a waste of time. It is not looking for trouble. It is the single best insurance policy you have for a longer, healthier, and more independent life. The old saying has never been truer. Prevention is always better than a cure. We now arrive at our third deadly habit. And this one is different. It's a silent danger that many people don't even think of as a physical health risk at all. But I can assure you, it is. Number 3. Isolation and loneliness. The third mistake is allowing yourself to become isolated. After 60, life changes in profound ways. Your career, which for decades gave you a daily sense of purpose and social interaction, comes to an end. The kids are often busy, raising their own families in different cities, sometimes even different states. Friends you've known for a lifetime may move away to be closer to their grandkids. And sadly, some of them even pass on. Slowly, almost without you noticing it, that vibrant social circle you once had can begin to shrink. And you might find yourself sitting alone in a quiet house more often than not. But my dear friends, I need you to hear this. Loneliness isn't just a sad feeling. It's a physically destructive force. Major, reputable studies published in top medical journals have shown that chronic loneliness can be as harmful to your physical health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Let me repeat that. Smoking 15 cigarettes every single day. The scientific evidence is undeniable. It significantly increases the risk of high blood pressure and heart disease. It accelerates memory decline and dramatically raises the risk of developing dementia. And it is a major contributor to depression, which weakens the immune system and can lead to an earlier death. The core reason this becomes so toxic as we age is that our social circles naturally shrink, and it requires a conscious effort to rebuild them. When we feel lonely, our bodies release stress hormones, like cortisol, which over time create chronic inflammation. This inflammation is like a slow, simmering fire inside your body, damaging your blood vessels, your heart, and your brain cells. What might feel like a quiet evening at home can actually be a moment of intense biological stress on your body, all without you even realizing it. I will never forget a lovely woman who was my patient. I'll call her Eleanor. She lost her beloved husband of 50 years when she was 72. And the light just went out of her eyes. She was heartbroken, and she completely withdrew from the world. She stopped going to her weekly book club. She stopped answering calls from her friends. She told her children she was fine and just wanted to be left alone in her house, with her memories. But within just a few years, the physical toll was shocking. Her health declined rapidly. Her memory, which had always been sharp, became foggy. Her energy vanished, and that vibrant, joyful spirit that everyone loved about her. It just faded away into the silence of her home. Now, I want you to contrast her story with that of another man I knew, Arthur. Arthur also lost his partner around the same age, and he was just as devastated. But he made a different, conscious choice. He told me, "Doctor, the silence in this house is going to kill me if I let it." So, he fought back. He started volunteering twice a week at the local library, just helping people find books. He found a weekly bridge game at the community center. He even, at the age of 75, started taking a watercolor painting class. He said he was terrible at it, but he laughed so much. Today, at 80 years old, Arthur is cheerful, he is sharp as a tack, and he is surrounded by a new circle of dear friends who cherish him. So please, do not let yourself become an island. I implore you, fight the silence. Pick up the phone right now and call a friend you haven't spoken to in a while. Join a club, a church group, a senior center, or a volunteer organization. Even learning how to use a simple tablet to video call with your grandkids across the country can make a world of difference. The solution is simple, and it is powerful. Remember this, always. Human connection is medicine for the soul and for the body. Alright, let's talk about the fourth deadly habit. This is a subtle but incredibly destructive mindset. A trap that is so easy to fall into as the years go by. Number 4. Ignoring chronic health issues. The fourth mistake is brushing off those persistent, chronic problems as just a normal part of getting older. My friends, how many times have you heard someone say that? Or perhaps, how many times have you said it to yourself? You feel a nagging pain in your back when you get out of bed, and you think, oh, it's just my age. Your knees ache after walking through the grocery store, and you say, well, I guess this is just a little arthritis. Everyone gets it. You feel a persistent sense of fatigue that you can't quite shake, and you dismiss it, thinking, of course I'm tired. I'm not a kid anymore. Let me tell you, as your doctor and your friend, this line of thinking is a dangerous path. Because these chronic health problems, conditions like arthritis, diabetes, high blood pressure, or even ongoing fatigue, if they are left unmanaged, they do not stay still. They don't remain as a little problem. They grow. They silently and steadily damage your body, your joints, your blood vessels, and your organs, until one day, they erupt into a full-blown crisis. Think about it like this. Imagine ignoring a small, slow leak in the roof of your house. At first, it's just a tiny drip, a minor annoyance. But if you ignore it for months or years, that slow drip will rot the wooden beams, ruin the drywall, and create a perfect environment for toxic mold to grow. Eventually, a piece of your ceiling will collapse. The same vicious cycle happens inside your body. Let's take arthritis pain as an example. When your joints hurt, what do you naturally do? You stop moving as much. But when you stop moving, what happens? You start to gain weight. That extra weight puts even more pressure on your already aching joints, which makes the pain even worse. This, in turn, makes you want to move even less. It is a downward spiral that slowly but surely steals your mobility and your independence. The core reason this is so critical after 60 is that our bodies simply have less reserve capacity. When we were younger, our bodies could bounce back from neglect more easily. But as we age, a small problem can escalate into a major crisis much more quickly. Your body's ability to compensate for an imbalance is reduced, meaning that managing these conditions isn't just a good idea. It's essential. I once had a patient, a very sweet woman I'll call Brenda. She had arthritis in her knees, and she lived by the motto, I'm old. Pain is normal. She refused to change her lifestyle or consistently follow her doctor's advice. But because moving hurt, she stopped her daily walks. As she became less active, her weight slowly increased over the years. This, of course, made her knee pain far worse, until even walking from the living room to the kitchen became an ordeal. Eventually, she lost her ability to walk on her own and became dependent on a wheelchair. She had lost the very independence that she valued so deeply, all because she dismissed her pain as normal. Now, compare her story to that of Michael. Michael was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes in his late 60s. He could have easily ignored it, because in the early stages, he didn't feel any major symptoms. But instead of ignoring it, he decided to take control. He met with a nutritionist and learned how to adjust his diet. He made sure to get his walk in every single day. And he worked very closely with his doctor to monitor his blood sugar. He took it seriously. Today, at 82 years old, Michael still drives his own car, he does his own grocery shopping, and he enjoys a life full of independence and dignity. So my advice to you is simple. Listen to your body. Never dismiss a persistent pain or problem as just a normal part of aging. Manage these conditions early. Treat them consistently. And work with your doctor to create a plan that works for you. Because the lesson here is crystal clear. A little bit of care now prevents a mountain of suffering later. And now, my friends, we have arrived at the fifth and final deadly habit. This is the one I asked you to wait for, because it is perhaps the most profound, the one that ties everything else together. It is the danger of living without purpose. Number 5. Living without a purpose. After retirement, after the kids are grown and the career is finished, it is so easy to fall into a dangerous trap. It's the trap of thinking, my work is done. My job is finished. Now I will just pass the time. But my friends, let me tell you, from the bottom of my heart as a physician who has seen this countless times, just passing time without a reason to get up in the morning is one of the quickest ways to grow old before your time. You see, without a purpose, without something to look forward to each day, the human spirit begins to weaken. And this is not just some philosophical idea. It's a biological reality. This emptiness, this lack of meaning, can lead directly to clinical depression. And depression in seniors isn't just sadness. It is a serious medical condition that has a powerful physical impact. It floods your body with stress hormones. It suppresses your immune system, making you more vulnerable to illness. And numerous studies have shown that it significantly speeds up cognitive decline and memory loss. The brain, just like a muscle, needs a reason to stay engaged. When it doesn't have one, it begins to atrophy. The core reason this becomes so critical after retirement is that the entire structure that work once provided for us, it's suddenly gone. For 40 or 50 years, most of us had a place to be every morning. We had responsibilities. We had colleagues who depended on us. We had a clear purpose, even if it was just earning a paycheck. When that entire framework is removed, if we don't consciously and actively build a new structure based on meaning, we can feel lost. We can feel irrelevant. And that feeling is toxic to our health. The body listens to the mind, and when the mind says, I'm no longer needed, the body begins to shut down. I remember a patient of mine, a woman named Ruth. She had worked her whole life at a local factory, was a hard worker, and a wonderful mother. When she retired, she spent most of her days in her recliner, watching television from morning until night. Her kids would call and ask what she did that day, and she would often say, with a sigh, "Oh, nothing. I'm just waiting now. Just waiting." Those are perhaps the saddest words I have ever heard. And sadly, her body listened. Within 10 years, this once strong woman became frail, withdrawn, and was diagnosed with severe depression. Her lack of purpose had hollowed her out from the inside. Now, I want you to compare her story to that of a man named David. David was a retired accountant. After he retired, he felt that same sense of emptiness creeping in. But he decided to fight it. He noticed that some of the children in his neighborhood were struggling with their math homework. So, he put up a little sign at the community center, offering free math tutoring. At first, only 1 or 2 kids showed up. But soon, word spread. Before he knew it, he had a small group of students at his kitchen table 3 afternoons a week. He often told me, with a huge smile on his face, "Doctor, they give me so much energy. I feel alive again." Today, at 84 years old, David is still teaching. He is full of vitality, his mind is sharp as a tack, and he is filled with an incredible joy. He didn't just find a hobby. He found a new purpose. So I ask you, what gives your life meaning? It does not have to be something grand or world-changing. It could be tending to your garden with love and care. It could be painting, writing, or joining a choir. It could be mentoring a young person in your community. It could be as simple and as beautiful as helping a neighbor with their groceries or reading stories to your grandchildren. The key is to find a reason to get out of bed every morning. Something that makes you feel needed. Something that makes you feel alive. Because that purpose is the fuel that keeps your mind sharp and your heart strong. We started this journey together by asking a simple question. Why do some people seem to truly thrive in their later years, while others fade? As we've seen through the stories of Carol, Susan, Arthur, Michael, and David, the answer isn't some well-kept secret. It's not about wealth or luck. It's in the small, powerful, and deeply personal choices they made every single day. The main lesson today is this. Aging is inevitable. That is a truth we all share. But how you age, that is a choice. A choice you get to make, starting right now. You have the power within you, not just to add more years to your life, but to add incredible, vibrant life to your years. And so, as our time together comes to an end, I want to ask something important of you. Knowledge is only powerful when we put it into action. In the comments below, I want you to tell me the one small change you promised to make for yourself this week. Your commitment is powerful, not just for you, but for everyone who will read it and feel inspired. It could be as simple as, I will take a 10-minute walk every day, or I will call an old friend just to say hello. Let's fill the comments with promises of life and connection. If you found real value in our time together today, and if this message resonated with you, please press that like button. It's a small click that helps other people find this community and this advice. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to join our growing family of friends. A family that believes that life after 60 can be our best chapter yet. And finally, if this video made you think of someone you love, a spouse, a friend, a parent, a neighbor, please share it with them. You might be giving them a priceless gift. The gift of being seen, and the reminder of their own strength. Remember, stay healthy, stay strong, and keep shining your light. I'll see you in the next video.